Okay, hello everyone on the internet. Today I'm going to show you how to make some natural shaving soap or cream. You have to use a brush to make a cream, but it's the same thing really. And it will be free, hopefully. Utilising the little chocks of soap that everyone ends up being left over that are just too small to possibly use. And if you use alum, you end up with the same sort of thing. So I'm going to show you how to make that. Hopefully make it interesting and abuse some kitchen utensils in the process. The only other thing you might want to add is essential oils, just to make you smell pretty, because everyone wants to smell pretty. I'm not actually going to be using nubs because I don't have enough of them at this point. I'm going to use donkey milk because it's awesome and it is the silkiest soap I know of. So feel free to try it. If not, feel free to use up your leftovers. It's pretty easy, so even if you have leftovers and want to use some donkey milk, just mix them all up. It works with pretty much any solid bar of soap. The first thing you need to do is grind up the soap. Blending! Once you've ground up all of your soap into something a little bit smaller, you need to heat it very slowly. I've got my hob set to number 3 out of 10, not that that helps at all. And as it warms up, you're going to want to add a tiny bit of water. And then just stir it gently and very slowly warm it up. There's no exact amount of water you need because it depends on how moist your soap is. So you just have to play it by ear and figure it out as you go. If it's a little bit too powdery, add a bit of water, but only tiny bits at a time. You don't want to be adding too much water because then it just turns into an absolute nightmare of a mess to clean up. So whilst that warms up gradually, let's go and figure out how to deal with the alum. Next on the to-do list is to deal with the alum stone, which the best way to deal with this is a pestle and mortar. Unfortunately, I don't have one. I do, however, have a very similar tool. Yeah, that worked. Okay, so tiny little bit longer, and it's nearly at the ideal consistency that we want it. It's almost smooth to press down on rather than breaking up into chunks. So I think that's wet enough. It just needs to warm up slightly more, which means we've got the ideal opportunity to add a little bit of alum, freshly ground, professionally of course. Don't need a huge amount of alum in there. And of course, some of our non-essential essential oils. This is a few drops. I'm using lemon. You can use whatever you like. Make sure that that's mixed up well. Still a tiny bit chunky. Add a touch more water. Okay, so I'm just going to stir this a little bit and I'll come back to you in a second. Right, so, sorry, trying to look through the camera. There we go. This is the consistency you want. It's still solid and doesn't fall over on its own, but when you press a spoon into it, it spreads out evenly rather than into lumps. It's like a very thick dough. So that's about where you want it, as when that cools, it will turn back to hard. Any softer or wetter than that, and it won't harden enough. Any harder than that, and it's just a nightmare. But yeah, thick mashed potato. Very, very thick mashed potato. That's the consistency you're looking for. So the last part of the job is to apply your new shaving soap to your receptacle. I don't have a receptacle, so I'm recycling this old cylinder head. No, actually, it's for a friend of mine who's a bit of a petrol head, so I thought this would be a cool gift to make him. You don't have to use engine parts yourself. It's generally better to use a little ceramic pot or a Tupperware pot or something. Okay. So this is the leftovers that I didn't stuff into a decorative container for my friend. This is not quite cooled down because I'm impatient, but it is starting to cool, and you can see it's a little bit harder. It now cracks when you press it. So a little bit more time and that will harden. But I want to give it a go, so for that we're going to need a shaving brush. And let's see if we can get it to foam up. Yeah. Look how well that foams up. beautifully. That would be ideal. That is ideal. Give it a go for yourself. If you use leftover nubs of soap, it's pretty much free. Alum is absolutely dirt cheap if you don't use it. You only need a tiny pinch of it, so even if you don't have any leftovers, just chip a tiny bit off the edge of the block and put it in a pestle and mortar. Other than that, you just need essential oils, or you could even use bits of lavender or anything you like to make the scent. But that, look, you can dig the foam off of it. It's fantastic. No worries.